Alright everybody, welcome to another broadcast with DerkovRenault-Le. This is actually going to be the strategic advantage. What I'm going to go over is jungle timing, hopefully. It's going to depend kind of on what I'm able to find. I actually wasn't able to record a very good jungle game here, so hopefully I can go ahead and I can find a jungle game here and go from there. So it's going to be incredibly hard sometimes in order to get your jungle timing down and be able to plan for ganks, find out who you can gank and who's susceptible to it. And then also on top of that, you also have to be very, very careful at that you don't overextend yourself. Sorry about that. And what ends up happening is that a lot of times people will really overextend themselves, and you can go ahead and you can actually jump in and pick them up. The other issue that sometimes a lot of people will run into with jungling is that they won't know when to actually jump in. They won't know when to they won't know when to jump in, and they won't know when to be perfectly honest, they won't know when to actually take advantage of it. And a lot of times, some people, they can do it, and they can jump in properly. Other times they really can't. I've seen, I really have seen a lot of people in the jungle they don't really know how to jungle properly, which is kind of a shame. But sometimes they do know how to jungle properly, and I actually got a request from a friend of mine who actually watches my tasks. He actually contacted me via email that he'd like to go ahead and actually see the jungle kind of aspect of it and how I play it. Now, I have done a couple of jungle videos before, but I actually haven't really explained my timing on the ganks. I haven't really explained my timing on, why I do what I do. A lot of times, it's not necessarily why you do something, it's how you do it. And that can make a huge difference later on in a massive in a really massive decision. Right now, we did have first ban. The typical bans have gone out: Cass, Shen, and Shaco. Darius has been actually a really popular ban, I just have to say Darius has been a popular ban just because a lot of people really don't know how to deal with him. I just need to make sure that this broadcast, yep, everything's going well. So, looks like it's Vladimir. Interesting. Really quick, let me go ahead and go over my masteries really quick for the jungle. I have, thought I had everything in Smite. Yep, Smite gives you 10 bonus gold upon use. I have things that, damage the minions back, return 6 damage against minion or monster. I have health regen, I have a little bit of armor. I take the armor because I do a lot of damage, and I do try and get in there and be a tank, typically with the jungle, for my masteries. Let's see. Not... Oh, crap. So, I logged in and I didn't see that. what ends up happening is I locked in, Noct did not, I guess, want to be support, so I guess we're going to go ahead and fight over the jungle. So I don't have runes for support. Everything that I have is basically geared towards, really geared towards jungling. So, and the problem with this is that Noct did not actually pick a character that can actually tank. Noct is a DPS and damage dealer. They have 2 tanks, they have Blitz, and then they also have Nautilus. Vladimir can tank a little bit, but there's nothing else that he can really do. I mean, Vlad's going to be top, Annie's going to be mid, Ashley's going to be down towards the bottom. We have Easy that's going to be up top, and when you're supporting against a Blitz, it's really better to go with an Alistar or Soraka. When you're trying to do an Ali or a Soraka, you can counter Blitz by knocking them up in the air, and they have 2 ADs, so they don't have anybody in the mid. I would imagine Easy would go mid over anything else. So, looks like both teams are a little screwed. Noct had 20 seconds or more to go ahead and change. He didn't. I was already locked in. And again, I was playing more towards the team needs, not just my own personal needs, even though that I did want to go ahead and do the jungle. I had also mentioned I prefer the jungle in the top chat, and Crimson Cholo didn't say anything. So unfortunately, really what's going to wind up happening is Noct and I are probably going to fight over the jungle for that. But I mean, again, they really only have Nautilus as a tank, and then they have Blitz. We don't have any tank. If they do go ahead and they do, if Noct goes down to the bottom, great. If not, we don't have a tank, and this is going to be a very quick game. So that's really not going to change. I don't really recommend going Ghost with Nocturne, because he does actually have his ultimate that can actually propel him very, very quickly. And if they're going to flash, you're not going to really catch up with a Ghost by the time you can get your fear off. So, I mean, either or, it can go, either way. So we'll see what ends up happening. But if they wind up actually forcing Volley down to tank, there's not going to be any tank whatsoever. And Vayne and Easy will just pretty much be able to roll over everybody, because we don't have a tank, we don't have anybody to go in and actually take a hit. So we will kind of see what's going on that, and we can kind of go from there. Looks like that Vayne actually has a wooden computer today, so. Volibear is actually the best choice for jungle over Nocturne, because he can actually provide support and slow. So unfortunately, it looks like that Noct is actually going to be a jerk, to where he actually ended up trolling. You know, when somebody else locks in for the jungle, you know, or for something else, you know, and you're not locked in yet, you should really go ahead and you should really just change. And unfortunately, Noct actually did not really do that, and now he's not going to be able to actually provide any support to anybody. I mean, he can go ahead and Noct is going to be a little bit better to actually build and actually control, because now Blitz is actually going to have to be very careful with Vayne, or rather with Noct down there, because Noct can actually go ahead and, if he gets off of Fear, Ash can do a lot more damage. So, and then there's Blitz down there at the bottom. So. Now, there's going to be a couple of really key timing points. Right now, Vladimir, he has Zen actually in a really good point. Annie and Easy are going at it, but Annie's going to be at a massive disadvantage because Easy does have, the mobility advantage over Annie. So it's going to be incredibly hard for Annie to be mobile until she gets level 6 and she can rely on her bear. Now, some jungles actually do very, very well at you know, by stacking a single skill. Unfortunately, with Volibear, in order to set up the ganks right now where Vladimir is, it's actually going to be extremely a lot better for that, because Vlad currently has Zen in a position right at the turret, and when you typically start out, okay, come on Vlad, come up. There we go. And the fact that Zen, he did try and get away, he did try and use his flash. Unfortunately, Volibear with the red actually does a lot more damage, and he also, Volibear also provides a slow to that effect as well. Now, I don't have enough money to buy my Berserker boots, but the reason why the jungle is kind of important is because it gets a lot of the kills that are done. And if I was Ash, instead of actually shooting the minions, I actually would have tried to shoot Vayne, because you actually, with Vayne, or rather with Ash, you're actually able to store up critical hit chance, and you can get a single critical hit. And here comes Zen again. Right now, Easy is, I mean, he's out of mana. He can choose to go back if he wants, but it's not really going to behoove him to. If he goes back right now, it's really going to, it's actually going to cost him, because Annie's going to be able to still have free reign. Annie's Q ability, if she times it right, she can actually, she actually gets free hits on it. Looks like that Vladimir has gone ahead and gone back. Now Zen should know that I'm coming, and the reason why I wanted him to know that I'm coming is so that he backs off the turret. If he doesn't back off the turret, which he's not backing off the turret. And there's Nautilus bottom. What I really would have liked to have seen is Noct to actually go ahead and slow, or rather to at least fear them, but he didn't. Nautilus is actually moving around. Vayne and Blitz are having to both go back. So I mean, it's causing. They're going back, and unfortunately, Noct and Ashe keep pushing way too far to have any type of a gank that's actually feasible. Vladimir has actually done very well at trying to keep Zen close, but unfortunately, right now, I don't really have the ability to go up towards him because I am down here towards the bottom. Yeah, the bottom's going to be MIA for a while. Yeah, that was not necessarily the best idea in the world. Annie's coming up, and unfortunately what ends up happening is that she is taking the blue, which will actually put her on even and level ground with easy, but she's actually heading back, so... Ooh! And Easy misses his ultimate. It's not like him. And that was a really nice job by Annie in order to go ahead and bring Easy down. Now Annie needs to be really careful about fighting Nautilus underneath the turret, because if she's not, what's going to wind up happening with Noct there you go. And Vlad's not really doing anything. He's letting Zen just basically free farm. And instead of Vlad actually doing, you know, a whole lot of work, he's overcompensating. There we go. And that is one of the massive and most major benefits of Volibear, is that as a jungler he can actually be extremely powerful. Not only can he close the gap, but Garen's ultimate does damage based off of bonus health. And basically what Volibear has is 17% gained attack speed. And on top of that, as you guys can see, it's increased by 1% for each 1% that the actual target's health is actually missing. Oop, time to go back. And as we saw there, Easy actually used his ultimate to try and clear the minion wave, so that way the top turret actually still stands. Zen's probably going to go ahead and head on back up there in order to try and catch me off guard, or at least try and pick up an easy kill. Now Vlad's still there, and Vlad still actually has a missing piece. Oh, and Noct almost gets blitzed. Now Zen has been ganked twice. He's really not going to try and push it any more than he really has to. There we go. And unfortunately what winds up happening, especially with Annie, now right now, I mean, Easy has no choice. He either has to deal with us right here. Oops. And 3 people come up. There we go. Even though that Zen did manage to get away, we actually do pull up. Oh crap! I knew that was coming for me. Grr. Oh well. Yeah, I should have actually been moved over a little bit further, but oh well. But not only have we now just picked up 2 turrets, Vlad's actually still very feasible to hold the middle. It's just, you have the bottom that's left, and that's it. Annie's going to go ahead and go for blue, just because she can. Now, Annie's actually building a Rod of the Ages. Right now, the only lane that's actually in lane is going to be the bottom lane, and unfortunately, Ashe and Noct have actually had the bottom lane pushed so hard this game it hasn't been funny. Noct does... Noct was actually doing a great job. I mean, Noct's actually doing fairly well. He's got 5 kills. I've got 5 kills, so that's actually not bad. Now, if we can push this towards the turret, we can probably kill them both. Now, Nautilus did go ahead and he did get away, but just because he got away doesn't mean that, well, what ends up happening is we actually get the turret. And sometimes, you know, with the jungle, as a jungle and as a very tanky jungle, you can actually just dive. And if you dive properly, there's nothing that they can do about it. They can't stop you, they can't stop you, and they can very rarely ever do anything to prevent you from actually taking their blue or doing any kind of a counter jungle. Just gotta fight. Took 4 of them, but they managed to get me, so. Right now, they're probably going to go ahead and mop up the bottom turret if they can. We really should go after the dragon, but we don't have any wards there. Ash, I don't know what Ash is doing, and Vlad ended up pushing just a little too far. But we're actually not doing too bad. As Volibear and as a kind of a tanky jungle, I actually finish out the Warmogs first, and once the Warmogs is finished, once Warmogs is finished, I actually pick up the Atmos Inhaler. Nice. One of the main things that Ash can do is she can actually use her abilities to actually and again, sometimes it's really just better to dive, because if you dive, you are actually able to grab somebody and do a lot of damage to them. Blitz may end up going after Noct, I'm not 100% sure. Nope, doesn't look like it. Saved by my passive. And EZ is still unable to kill me because I have more hit points than EZ does, than EZ's ability does. And now with the Warmogs, after Warmogs, I'll go ahead and I'll grab Atmos. Atmos Impaler does give you attack power based off of your hit points, and then with Warmogs it gives it just allows you to grow it exponentially. Now, they are kind of EZ's AP, Blitz's AP, and Nautilus's AP. One of the main issues with so many APs is that it makes it very easy to counter. Unfortunately, both Zen and Vayne are also AD. So I really haven't quite decided or determined who is the biggest threat. With Vayne, if you build really tanky and really heavy on the hit points, Vayne can actually counter you extremely easily. Zen's going middle. But kind of as a jungle, you can actually really determine and actually really see, how things work, how people, yeah, Nautilus, unfortunately, EZ did not count on Volibear's ultimate. Volley has an ultimate that actually chain lightnings, and it's actually extremely difficult to dodge and avoid. So I was able to go ahead and shut EZ down. I only picked up the basic. I only picked up the basic 300. That sucks. Oh well. But it's still worth it. I'm kind of surprised that Nautilus actually hasn't gone back yet. Typically at this point, you'd really want to go back in order to heal your hit points, not just to... I don't know if... No, Easy's not going to chase me, that's odd. It looks like they have things well in hand over there. Right now, with them running, it's actually going to allow us to actually pick up this turret. And since we can, if I can pick this turret up, it'll actually give us a extremely huge advantage. Ah! Wasn't able to get away. Not from 3 of them, anyway. Oh well. But with that, I mean, I did a significant amount of damage to both. I took this turret down, and I also did over 25, not quite 50% to that. So. But the top lane's actually getting run a little bit more. 825 is what I'm going to get for the Atmos. And then from here, I would actually, from Ash's standpoint, I'd be more willing to farm this and just wait a little bit. But then again, it can also vary, and sometimes I kind of have an eye, and other people can kind of have an eye for this and see how it does, and see how well it's farmed, or see how much of a farm that it's actually going to give off. Now, Annie's actually waiting for Blitz and for other people. Not necessarily the greatest idea. Now, Nautilus did go ahead and he did actually place a ward there, which is great, but we can actually see the ward. And then after I pick up the rest of these minions, I'm actually going to kill that ward, pick up an extra 25 gold. Might as well, I mean, it's free gold. Because it's got 37 seconds on it left. And they're going to pick up Baron, and by them picking up Baron, it's going to give us a... it's actually going to give us quite an advantage, and once we are able to push, we can push the middle, take that turret down because it's less than 50%. Well, it's a little more than 50, but it's actually going to be easy. It's actually going to be a lot easier to go ahead and take that down. Yep, they killed it before I got there. That's okay. And Warmogs isn't quite as powered up as I'd want it to be, but that's okay too. Now our team's level 16, I'm 16. Wow, I'm actually the highest level in the game right now. One bad thing about Nautilus is that he can do the chain and grab you. I thought Vlad was actually going to come up a little bit more, but he didn't, so that did kind of hose me there. I do have to say that sometimes actually kind of trying to per se anticipate your fellow teammates' moves can also be extremely bad. I mean, we have Baron. Instead of really mopping that up, they really should be pushing top. They should be pushing top, or they should be pushing somewhere, just because they do have the buff. Once this minion wave gets up here, it doesn't matter who's actually defending the turret. We're actually going to be able to, I'll be able to dive. The minions will absorb the very first turret hits. Yeah, that was not the best idea in the world. What we should have done is we should have actually focused that turret down, and we didn't. And they're so worried about Vayne doing a lot of damage that they let everybody else actually get into the middle of them and just do an absolute absurd amount of damage. If Easy isn't careful, Annie will be able to actually go ahead and just one-shot him. And Vayne's just basically running, and she's regenerating all of her hit points. So there's not a lot that can be done. Vlad's actually overcompensating. He's overextending, and unfortunately, there's not really a lot that he's actually done. Wow, he's actually fairly weak on his ability power. Ash really just needs to go ahead and stick with it and run up top. Yeah, and they just stand there and they don't help. That's awesome. Had Ash and Vladimir instead of actually focus the inhibitor, we probably would have actually been able to do. We probably would have been able to take them down and continue on, pressing on. But right now, I'm actually going to have to build the counter Vayne. There you go. This would be the perfect time for your ultimate Ash. Time to go. And Baron's back. They're going for Baron. We don't have our entire team. Nox shouldn't have chased. Yep, Vlad called it just right. Had Nox not chased, we actually probably, he'd be alive for Baron. Huh. They've actually only gotten one turret down. That's actually interesting. I figured that they would actually have more down, but they don't. Really quick, let me go ahead and kind of explain this this little bit of a build that I'm doing. Easy and also Vayne and also Zen, they're all basically speed-based. Since they're all speed-based, getting a frozen heart would actually shut them down completely. They have no recourse, they would have no ability to really do a whole lot, to really actually be able to do a whole lot of damage to us. I mean, as you guys can see, I have 204 armor and I also have 102 magic resist. As I look at what they currently have, none of them actually have any type of an armor pen. None of them have an armor pen, none of them have magic pen either, so and with that, we can actually go ahead and we can actually head back, and I actually, since they do currently have, I mean, they have the numbers on us, which isn't a problem. If Blitz is more than welcome to try and actually run that on us, but I highly doubt he's actually going to get anywhere. He may be able to drop a turret or two, but since he's going to be down there, we're actually going to be able to do a lot more damage up here. Ah! Couldn't get out from under the turret. Annie's running. Vlad's under. Ash was actually able to... Wow. Ash was actually able to do quite a bit of damage. There's not... That turret's going to go down quick. Nox is actually doing a great job. Once these two turrets... Let's see. Is this going to be game? Yep, this is going to be game because Zin's not going to be able to... I don't think Zin's going to be able to kill Nox by the time he actually kills the Nexus. Zin's up. The next person that's going to be up is going to be Zane. Yeah, and he's got 760 AP. That's absolutely insane. Yeah. Nice. I don't know if Nox is actually going to be able to get away. But there's Ash who's coming up. Oh. Nice. Ash with a heal or Nox with the heal. Yeah, it was Ash with the heal. Saved Nox's life. This was a really high kill game. I'm actually impressed. I got Zen. There we go, and that's another ace. Almost. Nautilus was able to go ahead and take that. Hopefully I was able to go ahead and give you guys a good show on kind of timings and explain a little bit more about the jungle. So that is the strategic advantage tonight, guys. Take care and have a good night.